Hi there, all you band people. I'm going to do one video to introduce what's coming up on pages 12 and 13 so that everybody gets the same explanation from me and I don't have to record it 4 times. So this is a set of pages that are all trios, which means that we have a melody, a harmony, and a bass line part. And each part is its own line. So you'll see A, B, and C. Again, the B line is highlighted to help you visually see where you go. So just like in the duets, you'll see that the measure lines go all the way through all 3 staves. Staves is actually the plural there. And when 2 or more staff lines are beamed and bracketed together like this, they are called a system. So if you look in Jingle Bells, the Dreidel Song, and Kwanzaa Celebration, there's actually 2 systems for each song. So you play line A, this way, of the first system, and then you play line A of the second system. You don't go A, B, C, A, B, C. Okay, so just like in a duet, you play your part. Jolly Old St. Nicholas is the only one that doesn't go on to 2 lines. And there's 3 other things that we need to talk about before we get into being able to play these. The first is up in the orange box, the rehearsal numbers. So anytime you have a number that's in a block, that is a way for the conductor to easily get the band to be at a certain spot without having to count 15 measures from the beginning or 20 measures back from the end. They put rehearsal blocks usually at pretty predictable places. So in Jingle Bells, it's on measure 5, which is after the first 4-bar phrase. In the Dreidel Song, it's in measure 9, which is again in between the 2 8-measure phrases. And then in Kwanzaa Celebration, it's at 5 and 13 on either side of the repeated section. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we have first and second endings. Again, this is a way to save ink and save space on the page. So if, and we're going to talk about these first and second endings out of order here once I talk about the last vocabulary word. So the last vocabulary word is fermata. And Jolly Old St. Nick and Kwanzaa Celebration both use these. A fermata looks like a half an eyeball. It's a curved line with a dot underneath it, and it usually goes over a note at the end of the song, although it can be in the middle of a song if it's between 2 different sections. So the fermata simply means to look up at the conductor. So if I'm conducting and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, here's the note with the fermata. It gets held, and then you make a circle and usually close it off, and that's the end of that note. So that note will go longer than the printed value. So if it's a whole note, it'll go 5, 6, 7, 8 counts, depending on how long the conductor feels like holding it. So a big breath, the measure before the measure with the fermata, is a good idea. All right, back to first and second endings. These can be tricky for some folks at first, and then page 14 and 15 have tons of songs with simple first and second endings, and we'll look at those and try to get a better understanding of that. So along with the first and second endings, we're going to talk about the theory and composition terms that are in the purple box. So right away, we're going to actually look at Dreidel Song first, because it's got the easiest repeated pattern, and it's like what we've learned before. There's a final repeat or a backwards repeat on measure 16 at the end of the song, 2 dots on either side of line 3, which means you go back to the beginning of the song. And in this situation, you've played through one system, through the second system, and you go back up to the first system and you play the whole song twice. So that's Dreidel Song. You play your part, A, B, or C, 2 times through completely. In Kwanzaa Celebration, we've got an introduction. Now the introduction is 4 measures that kind of sets up the tune that we're about to play. So those 4 measures only get played 1 time, because if you see under block 5, rehearsal number 5, there's something that looks like a double bar and repeat, but it's backwards. So the thick bar comes to the left, the thin bar goes to the right, and then the 2 dots are actually to the right of the thin bar. That's called a forward repeat sign, and the first time you see it, you don't do anything. So in this song, we'd play 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd keep going, 5, 6, 7, 8, next system, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then there's our backwards repeat and double bar line at 13. that sends us back to 5 only, not to measure 1, but to measure 5. So we play all the way through to measure 13, go back to 5, play 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 again, and then after we get to that double bar line, there's more music after there because there's still line left, and then 13, 14, 15, and 16 are going to be what we call later a coda or an ending, or an outro. So that's the second one that we'll do. And I am going to play these out of order in the playlist because I think this order gives the easiest path forward to making it seem a little bit more, or it's a little bit easier with the repeat schemes. They get more difficult each one. So dreidel first, Kwanzaa, then we're going to jump back to page 12 and do Jolly Old Saint Nick. Jolly Old Saint Nick has a first and second ending. So the first ending is measures 7 and 8. It's under a bracket that says 1. And then measures 9 and 10 are under a bracket that says 2. And if you look at the end of measure 8, it's got the double bar line and the 2 dots. That means go back to the beginning, all the way to the beginning, because there's no forward repeat now. And you play measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again, but you've already played the first ending the first time through. Now when you play measure 6 the second time, you'll play measures 9 and 10 in the second ending bracket the second time through. This will all become a lot easier when you, if you are watching your music while you hear me play through it. And I will play all of these at the slow tempo, line by line in the videos coming, and then I'll play the Okay, so we got cut off there, and I need to finish up the description for the last tune in this set, which is Jingle Bells. Now, Jingle Bells has the most complicated set. It's got a forward and reverse repeat. It also has first and second endings, and there's stuff after the second ending. So let's take this apart a little bit and talk about the path through this song so that you'll be able to successfully follow what we call a roadmap in music. If you've got parts that jump around, they call that the roadmap. So I'm going to start with a 4-measure introduction. And then at 5, we're going to go to the theme, which is the main tune of the melody. And so you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't do anything with the forward repeat at 5 yet. Jump down to the second system, play 9, 10. Now, play 11 and 12 as part of the first ending bracket. After you've played 12, there's the backwards repeat. It does not go back to measure 1. It goes back to measure 5, just like in Kwanzaa celebration. So at the end of measure 12, go back to measure 5. Play 5, 6, 7, 8. Next line, 9, 10, 11. Again, now we jump over the first ending because it's now the second time we're playing. And we go to 13, 14, 15, and 16. And even though the second ending bracket isn't complete there, all of that just happens after. And really, they only have to put 1 measure under the second ending bracket if there's more music. It's just a kind of publisher's choice on how long the bracket's going to be. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit of this. The other thing that is on our page that we should take a look at, there's a tan section here, or a beige section called concert etiquette. And that's something that we will talk about in class more thoroughly, but right now let's just see what they have to say about it in the book. It says, enter the stage or performance area confidently, make eye contact with the audience, and smile. Second point, stand or sit tall, be positive and energetic. It's fun to share your music with others. So I agree and I echo these statements. If you come into a concert and you look like you don't want to be there, that tells the audience a lot about what they're going to expect from a performance. If you sit tall and you look like you've got pride in what you're doing, the audience is going to be a lot more forgiving when they listen to you, especially as a beginner, than if you look like you think you're going to make a mistake. And talking about that, let's make sure that if we do make a mistake, we don't let it show too much on our face. If you make a mistake and you go, or you drop your instrument down, that's going to telegraph to the audience for sure that you have made that mistake, and they're going to be looking for more mistakes after that. If you make a mistake and try to internalize it, and then just make sure the next note isn't messed up because you made one mistake, then you're going to go on and be more successful, and that way we can mask some of those things, and that's part of the act of performance. It's not just playing our instrument, it's how we carry ourselves when we're out there performing for an audience. All right, so in the next 4 videos, we're going to do, in this order, Dreidel Song, Kwanzaa, Jolly Old St. Nick, and Jingle Bells. And then we'll move back into page 14 with the numbered tunes, starting with number 14. All right, enjoy these. Do try to play each of the 3 parts as you're watching through the videos. Watch the videos as many times as you need to get them all done. A reminder, I'll do them line by line at the slow tempo. And then I'm actually only going to give you 2 tempos on these in the full setup. So I'm going to give you the 80 beats per minute tempo as a trio, and then I'm going to give you the tempo that the song is typically performed at if you were to be singing along with it. So any tempo you need in between there, call up the metronome either on your tablet or smartphone device or on Google, and work that tempo slowly up to the faster tempo if you can't play it at the faster tempo after working it at the slower tempo just in the video. So again, give yourself as many chances to be successful by playing it at intermittent tempos. I'm starting at 80. A lot of these will be 120 or more for the performance tempo. All right, enjoy, band. I'll see you later.